Welcome everybody in. It is Thursday, last week of July 2021. Today you are joining us live on DZone Live, episode 6, our low code, no code episode. And what a big week for low code, no code. We've got some of the best, brightest, and most exciting companies in this space with us today. And so let's get started right out of the gate. We are going to bring up our featured guest, Jay Jamison, who is the Chief Product and Technology Officer at QuickBase. I'll put a link to that company into the chat. Jay, thanks so much for joining us here today on our low code, no code episode. So if you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and what QuickBase does.
Great. Hey, Blake. Thanks for having me. I'm Jay and thrilled to join you. So QuickBase is a SaaS-based no-code application development platform. And our mission is really to help organizations unlock the potential captured in their organizations in terms of helping them innovate at speed and with safety in their organization. So what that really is all about is helping end users, what we call citizen developers, citizen automators in their organization who encounter problems each and every day that they need to overcome to better serve their customers, better serve the mission of their company. We provide them an application development platform that enables them, without needing to know how to be a software developer, without needing to code, they get the power to leverage the potential of software development by using our platform to build powerful line of business applications that solve problems in their business.
Great. It's a pretty exciting space. So when we talk about, the use of no code, low code today, and how it's helping organizations, remain agile despite the volatility, right, that's going on. How do you kind of see that sort of working? How's it helping companies? And have you seen citizen automation grow as the digital transformation accelerates many organizations around the world?
Yeah, so 100%. What we see in the companies and the customers that we talk to each and every day is just this notion of, look, the market needs, and in particular in a world where we've had so much disruption with COVID, the demands for responsiveness, the demands for operational agility have never been higher. The need for a digital solution in a business, you can't have an answer in a month from now or a quarter from now. You need an answer today. You need solutions that you can build and deploy safely in a matter of hours. And with a no-code platform like QuickBase, we provide something that is very, very powerful, but also where that time to value can be built in hours or days. So we have numerous examples, and this was really highlighted during the sort of the pandemic, where government agencies, town cities that needed ways for their citizens to be able to report, issues of getting food or getting access for elderly, or hospital networks that had to figure out, how do I get the ventilators to the right parts of my network? Those acute, very, very urgent problems were ones that platforms like QuickBase were ideally suited to solve, because you gave something that provided a robust application development platform. You could very quickly get the experts that knew exactly what was needed building a solution that enabled them to get it real-time insight and connection to solving the problems that were right at sort of on their doorstep that urgently needed addressed. And what that's done is that's really opened up the window, if you will, of people starting to say, geez, I've heard about low code, no code, but now that I've seen that impact in terms of the step change in agility and responsiveness I have to being able to serve, my stakeholders, my customers, I need to give this no code these no-code platforms a much closer look, because I don't want to go back to a world where I can't be agile and I can't be responsive. I know that the world's only going to be moving faster from here. And that's where no-code platforms like QuickBase are really seeing a lot of momentum.
Excellent. And then just sort of following up on that, so you mentioned the kind of the, we're talking about the, citizen automation. Do you have any recent examples of how adopting citizen automation has helped organizations? And kind of an add-on question to that, what capabilities does QuickBase currently have or just released that are helping to bring those citizen developers to life?
Yeah, great question. So we have a number of examples. So I've talked a little bit about some of the ones that we highlighted, hospital networks, government entities, and so on. But when we look at some of the larger enterprise customers that we've been working with more recently, what we've seen, and we've had a lot of traction with large scale enterprises that, again, are sort of dealing with mass disruption, for example, in their supply chains that have been a really acute set of challenges that they're trying to overcome sort of as a second order effect to the pandemic. So one of those customers, for example, Mondelez, we work with very extensively, a global broad scale customer, our consumer products company, packaged goods company. And what they are absolutely sort of leaned in on exactly the mission that we see no-code platforms like QuickBase taking on. Specifically, what they're saying is, look, we have a large-scale IT and developer organization that is working on really critical problems that we're solving using fully coded professional development techniques. But out in the field, if I look around the world at the manufacturing plants that I have globally distributed, I don't have anywhere near the professional development and IT resources at my disposal to be able to solve all the problems and all the optimization opportunities that exist sort of out in the field. So what we want to do is we want to distribute a no-code platform like QuickBase and train up those subject matter experts in the manufacturing plants on the line so that they have the ability to now start building and crafting solutions that make their jobs more efficient, more effective, in a manner that they can just sort of speed innovation really at the edge of their business. I think of it often as kind of a big rocks is kind of the pro developer, IT-led digital transformation. And no code is really a great place for the small rocks, all the little things around the edge of the business that are really important. And so with QuickBase, when you ask what kind of innovation have we brought to market to sort of help that small rocks digital transformation effort occur, we've had a number of new capabilities that we've brought to the market. One major effort, particularly important in our customer base, is a really strong rework of our dashboards and visualization capabilities. So what people look for QuickBase to do and no-code solutions to do is they're looking for it to capture data from around the organization and provide the right information and the right insights to the right people in real time. And so we've launched just recently a new set of dashboard capabilities that make it much easier for those end users to start filtering data from different data sources and different applications in a way that enables them to get the information and insight that they need in their business. A second major capability we've launched recently, or really sort of brought to market that's innovated, is a new set of integration capabilities, which is very important for citizen automation type use cases that you're describing. And what the capability we call pipelines is basically an integration platform. It provides a drag and drop surface for individuals to connect QuickBase and other third-party systems. So for example, if you have something occurring in a Salesforce opportunity and you want that to trigger automatically a new update in Slack and update a team on a calendar and update a project management application in QuickBase, we enable you to sort of connect those pipelines so that one item changing in one application can automatically fire off actions in other applications that you have. Again, to streamline the agility of those closest to the work to get the insight and information they need in the tools they're using. So it's a really exciting time that we see in the customer base. And I'm really excited about much of the innovation we've had the opportunity to bring to market.
Great. And so just kind of like at the executive level with tech leaders, they're like, hey, this no code, low code sounds great, but how can my organization, I want to implement this. What are some of the things I need to do? So for those tech leaders just getting started, what are some of those like first steps or things that they should do to get it, basically start to integrate it and rolled out into their organization?
Great question. So at the highest level, I think there are two things to do. One, it's really about defining and experiencing a way where business value is being created, where we're solving problems that are having real, meaningful impact that move the business forward. And two, it's about putting into place very early the partnership that you need between business and IT for control and governance. Because one of the things that's very important about this no-code movement, particularly in enterprises, is as you empower the end users and those in the business group to build software solutions to solve problems in their business, you create a real imperative that IT is partnered very closely to have the right kind of control and governance and management of those solutions. Otherwise, you really risk kind of a very strong kind of chaotic shadow IT style implementation. So what we do at QuickBase to solve both those problems is we work closely with enterprises and particularly those IT leaders to say, look, let's get the business partners, at the table here. Let's understand what are some of the problems that are being left unaddressed, and how can we get QuickBase in here to start solving and knocking down some of those problems in the here and now. Not in a quarter, not in 2 quarters, not a year from now, like this month. Like, let's go solve some problems. Let's put points on the board. And we'll do that through quick hackathon type experiences where the business group will describe some problems and we'll work to train some people and we'll get real meaningful solutions built quickly for them. And then at the same time, to solve the second problem, this governance challenge, we work to partner with IT to start thinking about, let's sort of think about best practices. Let's think about governance frameworks. Let's think about who should be building, who should be trained, who should be managing. How do we think about the style of data that's being put into these applications and so on, such that as an organization starts leaning in and saying, yes, we want to take the opportunity to drive operational agility with QuickBase into our organization, we have a robust governance framework to ensure that we have safety, control, and sustainability that IT feels comfortable with. So it's really those two things, business value and IT partnership, that we see as really important first steps for businesses to take as they start thinking about adopting no code in their environment.
Great. And so one of the, and the final question here today is, so this is great, but, for the business and IT, they're going to need to have a stronger relationship working together. So how can the citizen automation and that sort of low code, no code movement empower the business and the IT to come together? And what are some of the things they're going to need to do to be more integrated and to have even stronger relationship with each other?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I think it's sort of the broadest level for a technology strategy, whether it's no code or anything else. For a technology strategy to be impactful to a business, you really do need that partnership, because if IT will often complain or be concerned that, look, we want to be known as an organization that's really helping drive the business forward and have an impact. And so that partnership is, we think, really, really important with whatever kind of technology solution you're trying to take on. Now, what's very interesting that we're seeing in the world of no code is you're starting to distribute more of the development expertise into the business, which creates a tremendous amount of potential, but also, as you're saying, a lot of imperative in terms of building those tighter relationships. And so what we try really hard to do, and with what we see, particularly with more progressive IT leaders, is a really spirited, adoption of that, because what they're starting to see is, look, I now have an opportunity to have to do less work because I'm principally governing and overseeing this. And we're having our business more involved in the technology solutions and more aware of the challenges they've got to overcome. And through that partnership, we're also starting to see more agility and more value being driven into the business through technology. So it's kind of a win-win in that regard. I'll give one quick example just to sign off. So we work with we work really closely with a very large and leading medical devices company. And they use QuickBase. They're in a very heavily regulated industry, meaning, they're building artificial hip components, for example, and shipping them through a supply chain to a doctor in an operating room and ultimately getting it into a patient. So very, very strict standards for quality, both in terms of manufacturing and traceability of those components through their supply chain. And obviously very strong and rigorous compliance standards in terms of ensuring everything is very, very well and tightly handled. And they depend on QuickBase for quality control through the product design and product supply chain efforts. And for them to be able to get the kind of quality and rigor and service level agreement meeting that they have, they've developed a very, very strong partnership between their product management group, which is building and running the applications, and their IT organization to ensure that not only are those apps governed well, but that they're meeting all their compliance standards and all the ongoing quality control metrics that they've got to be able to hit. And so for them, it's been a great way for them to ensure that each and every day, not only do they assure themselves that they're keeping track of the quality, but they're finding ways to continue to improve and get better in terms of their supply chain management each and every day. And that's a function in part of the software that we've been able to deliver to them with QuickBase. But it's also a big testament to the people and the processes and the teamwork between IT and the business in that case. So I think it's one of these things where the challenge of IT and business partnership always exists. And I think the opportunity and potential with no-code platforms like QuickBase is you have the ability to really accelerate and catalyze a deeper and more productive partnership between those two groups than has really existed before. We see that as really exciting and really needed in the age that we're in today and where we think the world's going.
All right. Well, thanks so much for that, Jay. And I mean, it's really good to hear low code, no code. Usually the complaint I hear is people talk about it like from this like 800,000 foot view. So it sounds interesting, but I don't really hear anything too practical or what this means for my business. Your examples today were real world scenarios, and it really shows that QuickBase is a leader in this space. So it's really good to see industries that you're working with, customers that you're working with, and operational details and sort of the best practices and things that you're seeing out there that I think any sort of business leader or tech leader out there, or even in business side or IT side, are you're going to walk away from this with some really good nuggets and some really good insight that they otherwise hadn't got before. So a huge thank you, Jay at QuickBase, for taking time out with us today.
Thanks, Blake. Appreciate the opportunity to join you today. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. All right. So that was Jay. Up next, we're going to have Zavi. Before we get Dali up to the stage, then we'll have Javier and Alariza to close us out. So let's get Zavi up here to the stage. I will make you large. So Zavi is joining us. He now works, so if you're familiar with Zavi on DZone, Mr. Alexa. Zavi is now at Voice Flow. They're doing some cool stuff. So for those not familiar with you, Zavi, if you want to talk a little bit about your new book that's now out in English, what you're doing and what Voice Flow does.
Okay, thank you, Blake, for bringing me the opportunity to be here. So yeah, I'm Zavi. I'm working at VoiceFlow. I'm from Madrid. I'm currently working as an infrastructure engineer. So I'm in charge of the deployment and some maintenance of the pipelines of the development workflows, and also deployment to our infrastructure that we have right now. And yeah, at VoiceFlow is one of the most important right now low code, no code platform, at least for designing and prototyping conversations. So within VoiceFlow, you can create any kind of conversation, and you can release. Well, you can share the conversation that you have designed, and also you can deploy it as an Alexa skill, and also as an Google action, or even better, you can deploy as a chatbot in any kind of platform. Let's say Slack, Twitch, Discord, WhatsApp, and also IVR platforms. And yeah, and finally, after year and a half of work, I released my book I have here, which is the Alexa Revolution. So yeah, it's a book entirely talking about Alexa skill development. So it's like one from zero to hero. So you can, if you don't have any idea about Alexa, or just about voice first interaction, or how to build a voice design, you can start with the book. So yeah, that's really good. Huge effort behind, but now it's released. So yeah, it's available on all the main platforms. I mean, Amazon Kindle, Apple Books, Google Books, and so on.
Yeah, I got a link to it in the chat. So if anyone wants to check it out, and it's like, do I have this right? About 400 or 800 pages, and you've got how many like Alexa skills are in the book?
Well, it's just, well, I think there are three. One is the basic one. The second one, you will build a car charger Alexa skill, so you can ask to Alexa to find the nearest charger car nearest you. And the main one is the one that we are using chapter by chapter to explain all the Alexa feature, which is a fact, frequent asked question about the axolotl, which is a pretty different animal based on mainly on Mexico. So yeah.
Got it. How many pages was it again?
Near 500.
500 pages of Alexa. So for anyone out there looking to get started, this isn't one of these like 60-page high-level book. We've got that many pages for you to get in. So that's really amazing. And then when we talk about the kind of low-code, no-code space, what are some of the trends you're seeing with these sort of citizen developers and companies that you're working with at VoiceFlow?
Yeah, so here at VoiceFlow, what we are seeing is, at least for our platform, we are seeing a huge movement from the UX designer to a voice designer, a CXD is called, conversational designer. So what happened there? What is happening is, like, a UX designer right now, I mean, they are not technical people. They don't have a technical background, so they still need some, like, any kind of tool to develop or to design conversation. So thanks to a platform like VoiceFlow, anyone can create a conversation with just drag and drop. VoiceFlow is based in blocks and a canvas, so you can drag and drop any kind of blocks and just link one block into another one. So yeah, and then finally you have your full conversation. So yeah, basically in our field, what we are seeing is that kind of movement from the UX designers to conversational designer, which is right now really trendy. So yeah, they need a tool for that, a tool for achieve their design. So yeah, it's basically we are also, I mean, this is like low code, no code, right? Because within VoiceFlow, you can create also your code snippets to do like more complex tasks or like some filtering or something like that, which is low code. But yeah, I mean, anyone can build a conversation there.
Great. I know you've got to run. I'll put a link to the chat. So Zavi, you're also doing an open source communities chat over at Bevy. I'll put a link to that. But the final question then is, so this is all good and great, but at VoiceFlow, and for the people that are looking to get into low code, no code, what are, if they're a tech leader or someone in IT, someone in the business, what are some of the commonalities in terms of the best practices? So to say, like, to go from, hey, this is interesting, to like, here's where you can actually start to get into this space, and here's what you need to know before you do it.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, within VoiceFlow, you can, as a team, you can create a workspace. So you can add there all your teammates, and you can collaborate there. So you can have comments, you can create some suggestions to your teammates. You can see all the changes that your teammates are done. So yeah, basically as a best practice, working with a team should be that, and working as a single person, as an individual, the best practice is just go to voiceflow.com, register there, and we have a lot of templates, a lot of tutorials, and a lot of resources that you can find to get started within VoiceFlow. I mean, in just less than 5 minutes, you will have, for instance, your first Alexa skill built in with VoiceFlow. Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Thanks so much for joining us today. So we've got links to the chat to VoiceFlow, your Alexa book that's going out, link to your event going on in 30 minutes. Always so much exciting stuff going on with you, Zavi. So huge honor to have you here. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Blake. Thank you for bringing me the opportunity here to hear.
All right, no problem. Okay, up next, so that was Zavi. So we've got our final two guests. Up next, we've got Dali coming to join us. So let me get Dali up here to stage. Hey, Dali, how's it going? So I'm just going to kick it off so you can let people know a little bit about yourself and what you're doing.
Sure. Thanks, Blake. I'm Davi. I'm the head of customer success at 2057. Now, we're a software development house. And today, as a quick example, I just want to take you through how we use low code in our own DevOps space using one of our own products called Links. So normally we offer links to our customers through cloud servers or on-premise installs, depending on the requirements. However, for us to provide that service, there's some complex onboarding and servicing processes that we ourselves need to perform. So these processes we've actually automated with Links as well. So by using Links, we've created a complete system that orchestrates and manages our whole DevOps environment while running only on one server. So I'm just going to go through that on a very high level. So firstly, with Links in the middle, all of our customer requirements, information, settings, and everything is saved on a database, which we continually connect to and access via normal SQL queries and stored procedures. Then through REST calls, we then connect to Azure to create virtual machines and manage all of the virtual machines that we need to create for our customers. Now, through the Azure API, our solution has got complete functionality that's normally available on the Azure portal. Then finally, to install our applications and configure the servers, we'll then use remote PowerShell scripts from Links to set up these servers for our customer. Then we've also got some microservices that we are running on Links as well. So all of these microservices then we expose as REST web services. So one of these are to generate new licenses for our customers. And then we can then also apply those licenses directly to the customer server using remote calls. Once the server is up and running, we can then set up a nice email and send it to the customer via an SMTP server. And then also we'll set up and send out notifications to our staff using Slack or SMSs, whatever is needed at that point. And then finally, again, using REST API connections, we keep an eye on our servers 24/7 to make sure everything stays up and running and everything's working fine. So all of this is automated and built in Lynx. And this specific solution was built by one developer, our DevOps manager. And interestingly, before he did this, he hasn't even touched code for 5 years. So building solutions in Lynx, Lynx is it's a programming-based system, and it's quite an important factor because you need to understand your requirements and you need to build your system. And you can build almost anything in low code as long as you know what you want to build. So the result then would be a secure and a standard system that is easy to maintain, it's low cost, and it's quick and flexible, and modifications is quick turnaround as well. So worst case, if a big red bus were to hit our manager, the next person could just step up and immediately take over. Okay, so this was just one quick example of how low code actually helped us. And this is an example of what our clients can also implement themselves.
All right, wow, that's amazing. And so for your tools that you have today, I know that the financial service industry is a kind of a big play. So how are your tools helping that industry?
For us, and especially with our corporate customers, the important part is to fill the functionality gaps that they lack in their current systems, and also provide some custom functionality specifically for their environments, which they cannot buy off shelf. It's not available. And there's not just big corporates, there's also a lot of small and medium enterprises as well.
Got it. And then for your products, I see that they focus on a few things. So they focus on integration, business process management, automation, reconciliation, and reporting. So what are some of the highlights of those tools and how they can help out companies?
Right, we've got 2 specific low-code tools. The one is called Stadium, and that is it allows you to rapidly build professional data-driven user interfaces. And the other one, the one I focused on today, is called Lynx, and that is a back-end integration and automation tool. And all of our customers normally use these 2 tools in their stack. But importantly, Lynx and Stadium are built with programming paradigms in mind. So they do not exist to throw programming concepts out of the window, but to enhance your knowledge of programming, enhance your knowledge of logic, and use this then as a major weapon in your implementations.
Excellent. And then probably the question you get here a lot. So for all the and I've asked for the speakers here today. For the organizations, business leaders, tech leaders, they're like, all this no-code, low-code stuff's great, but how the heck do we even get started? We want to implement this, but have no idea where to begin.
Yeah, we do get this a lot. But the first and most important aspect is you need to know your own requirements. You need to know what do you want to accomplish with whatever tool you use. With that in mind, you'll need to understand which of the thousands of available no and low-code products actually relate to your specific problem. Any low-code and no-code product has got certain limitations. So depending on what you need to figure out what this project does and what's it good at, and then also understand what it's not good at, and then decide, does this affect my end goal? And then finally, build something before committing. Try before you buy. With all of these tools, you can test them out, test the support of the product, and then finally see if it meets your goals.
Great. Thanks so much, Dali, for joining us today. It was great to see the tools that you're using there in real practical terms. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Okay,
up next, we have Javier Tesso, who is the founder of Kumalogica, to talk to us about their efforts with low code, no code. So welcome on to DZone Live, Javier. If you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and your company that you co-founded, Kumalogica.
Hi, Blake. So yes, my name is Javier. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kumalogica. It's a small company here in Sydney, Australia. I have 20 years plus experience in the industry, banking, insurance, consulting. I play different roles, right? Development, architecture, managerial roles, but I still see myself as a software engineer at heart. So Kumalogica, as I said, is a small company. I mean, we are producing, offering a low-code tool to develop API and integration services that can run on serverless compute. I mean, we have a point-and-click type of development environment with the pre-built set of connectors, but we also provide some sort of runtime that allows you to run those services on any fast solution you want. So those services can run on AWS Lambda, Google Function, on Azure Function with no changes. This is almost in recognition of all these fears that we are observing from the business about this vendor lock-in in order to adopt the serverless.
Great. And then for Kumalogica, your company, I've got a link to it in the chat if anyone wants to check it out. So I see that it's the very first low-code development solution where a company can run integration and automation services, basically servicely on any cloud. So for those kind of not familiar with that and kind of looking to get to the cloud, how is that going to help them? And that sounds like pretty amazing just to be the first at doing that.
So yeah, I mean, the whole serverless movement is great. As I said before, I mean, it's a pity that the company still, they have this fear to really embrace it because of the vendor lock-in. This is why we want to decouple these things. So you just can take advantage of all this low-code, no-code type of speed of development, but at the same time, I don't want you to leave you there. Take the full stack. I want you to help you to run and transition into a serverless platform and let the cloud provider to run and do all the heavy lifting for you.
Great, got it. And so then with the focus on serverless, then the question would be, why no containers?
So yeah, good question. I mean, for us, serverless is actually, we believe serverless is the future. Serverless is the future. I think all the IT professionals need to work as close as possible to the business domain and try to minimize all the activities they are doing in all the areas, right? That are not related to that, like running or maintaining your infrastructure. So if you have a model that also provide you a pay for use and a scale up, and very importantly, scale down all the way to zero, I mean, you have a very strong proposition with real cost benefits.
Great. And then just to wrap it up, so the same question we've been asking everyone today. Everyone says, okay, all this low code, no code stuff's great. I'm a business leader. I'm an exec. I'm in IT. Where do I even get started? What are some of those tips or best practices for those that are kind of on the fence or looking to get started with it?
Yeah, I mean, low code is a tool. It's a tool that allows you to do more with less and faster. I mean, as a leader, you have to make sure that this more faster that you are doing is actually solving real business problems. So I would recommend to start with a very clear idea of what are use cases you want to achieve, right? Start small, as the previous speaker was saying, let the team take the time to trial different tools, low-code tools, solutions. Start small, and start growing from there. But always center on the use cases.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, and so it's You're out of Sydney, Australia, so you've got to be joining us pretty late. What time is it there where you're joining us from?
It's 1:43. I just struggling to be awake.
Well, hopefully we're doing something. I don't know, like it's always crazy there, because if you drink coffee or have anything that to try to get you too excited, then it's impossible to get to sleep. But at like almost 2 a.m. in the morning, that's going to be a record here on DZone Live. So we definitely, huge thanks to you for taking time out. The weekend's almost here at least, so thank us for joining us for so late over there in Sydney, Australia, for your time. So thanks again, Javier. So that's Javier Tessa, co-founder at Kumalogica. We've got a link to their website, so definitely be sure to go check it out. Thanks, Javier.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay, up next, we are going to shift left and bring up Alariza to the stage.
Hey.
All right, so that's better.
What's up?
People want to see you. They don't want to see me. So hi, Alariza. So it's really great for you to join us here on a low-code, no-code day. And if you missed Alariza, earlier this week, he was on this amazing Opsera CI/CD panel with John Esposito and Mark, people there. Amazing job there, really getting away from the theory, but to the real world stuff. So that was amazing session. Just really, y'all did one of the best CI/CD sessions I've attended in a long time. Usually we're greeted with really boring theory stuff and elevator type music around the topic, but y'all did such an amazing job. Had to let you know. So we've had a great session today on low code, no code, really just steering away from the theory, but to real world examples. I think everybody, Jay, Zavi, and Dali did a great job there, but really thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for your compliment. Actually, I was also surprised and at the same time amazed by the event. I really didn't expect that. It was first time for me to talk with Mark and John. John was, of course, is one of our contributors, but I didn't have a chance to see him and talk with him. There was a preparation for this event, and I missed it just because of the time difference was quite late for me. And that's why I was really surprised with the questions, and I really liked it because the questions was really interesting. Usually in this type of events, people just talk about the theories and the idealistic environments, and in this particular event, we really talked about the challenges, and I really liked the flow of the conversation, and I learned a lot from the event, and I like to, maybe if we can invite these guys in our events at some point, would be nice to have them here, and I really enjoyed that event, and that was the one of the good things happened this week for me.
Great.
And like always, I was reading the articles. One funny thing happened for me that I was reading an article yesterday. The title was "How to Automate Anything" from Jonathan Hall from Netherlands.
Yeah.
And what happened is that when I came back to put the link somewhere, I saw that the article is gone completely. There was no trace from the article, either from the writer. I don't know what happened, but that was funny. By the way, it was a nice article. I don't know why it was
it could be in the
removed.
moderation queue, but it should be back. I'll double check on that while
maybe. But I mean, it was interesting that how fast the system.
It's back. I'll put a link in the chat. It's back.
Oh, okay. So that's a nice article. I don't have it now to show it, but maybe I can quickly go through the articles. So let me just.
And I'll just say one thing before you get to your Alariza picks, just to get your quick insights. So when we're seeing now, like a lot of people are talking about citizen automation and citizen developers. What are you seeing like with companies, around the citizen developers and the low code, no code movement?
It's new for me a little bit because, the environments I have been working so far was quite big. And because of that, usually when you have a changing requirements, then it's difficult to go for the low code, no code because every time there are new requirements. And unfortunately, with these platforms, as some of our guests mentioned correctly, you have a bit of limitation. But I would say personally, because in my personal projects, I use the low code, no code time to time, even for the CMS websites or these kind of things you want to do. You know, as a developer, you can write it, but the point is why you should do it when there is something immediately ready for you. You can just choose the configuration and it's ready for you. I think one of the best thing is if you have a specific criteria, if you have a clear requirement in your mind, then instead of developing an application or platform yourself, it's better to find the tool which can does it for you. Then you can just focus on the business requirement rather than being bothered by the infrastructure, the capital cost, I don't know, whatever else which is not in your area of expertise, because that's one of the difficulties in some of the small companies. For example, they want to create a website. Then they think, okay, then now we need to hire a developer. Okay, front developer, backend developer. Oh, we need also to hire someone to support the infrastructure or the host or the domain or whatever. But I mean, if you just go for the low code, no code, we don't have any of these. You just have a clear picture of the website you want to create, the pages you want to add, and you just need to find a provider which can deliver the features which can satisfy your requirement. I think that's the most important part. And but in general, I think like also it was mentioned, low code, no code also is a tool. And I think it's good always to, instead of developing something to see if it's already developed, let's use something which is already developed. Then we can save a lot of time and money. We can also help those companies to improve the tool they develop. You know, it's good to use the software we are developing. And I was in a company that the most of the managers were against buying a tool, and I was I just told them one time that, hey, we are also a software company. We are also producing a software. Why you don't like to use the software from the other companies? Because it feels that, okay, if the people say the same thing to us, maybe we don't like it. I mean, we need also to consume our products, because I think in this market, if we start doing that, we can definitely help each other. Maybe it's a good time to, because we always have a good participant here. He's supporting us, Thomas Hansen. I really wanted to talk about this because that's a really nice experience I have had. That we had one event, and in that event we talked a little bit about the Magic, a platform that Thomas is working on, and I made some comments. And what I liked is Thomas later on came to me on LinkedIn, and he really asked to get more feedback from my side. And I really liked that reaction. I also spent some time on the platform, and I gave him some feedback. And also I said something about the documentation. I really amazed about the fact that after a couple of weeks, he came back and he wrote another document, and he asked me for another feedback. Even though we were not working in the same company, same project, you know, we were still able to help each other. And recently, I think you were also involved on the Twitter that we did some funny chat. Even he also asked some feedback from us. I really like that. I was just thinking today, what if other people, other companies also do the same with their friends from other companies, other communities? Because we can use from these social networks as a kind of a place that get a lot of good feedback out of that. And yeah, as I said, the low code, no code is a really good thing. We just need to make sure that we need to spend enough time on the inception phase to have a good understanding about what we want to achieve from that low code, no code tool.
Okay, great. And so then I guess up next, drum roll, Alareza's pick. All right, let's try that again. Take two.
Yeah.
Alareza's picks on DZone Live.
Yeah, let me just share the screen, and then, oh, now we can go to the article. So the the first article I want to talk about it's actually about one of the writers. It's not about one of his articles. It's about the series he's working. We have Dmitry Satnikov that he's covering the articles about the security on a weekly basis. And what I really liked about this article is that he's covering about some of the security issues which happened in for example, the famous platform like Coursera in this case. And out of that, there is a quite explanation about what was the problem and how Coursera fixed it. So you can find a lot of these things in the article from Dimitri. And for example, this article is a long video around 2 hours about the penetration testing. So for the developers or engineers are interested about knowing these kind of topics, I think it's really nice to follow Dimitri articles. I look up the Dimitri's previous articles, and I found that quite it's a lot of articles have been done before, and it looks like he's doing this on a regular basis every week. So I think definitely would be useful to look at it. And if you're interested about the security things. The next article it's from Stefan Wolpers. It's about abandoning Scrum. That's a quite interesting topic because usually we are talking about how you can actually apply Agile or Scrum or these kind of things. We are motivating people to use that. But in this particular article, Stefan is talking about the fact that what if Scrum is not really helping your team? What if you come up to a better way of working? And are you able to think about the situation that say, okay, maybe we can decide to stop using a Scrum and start using something else? And I think that's interesting to consider this because not necessarily this way of working can help every team, like Agile, like DevOps, like SRE. So you need to figure out what kind of way of working can help your team to achieve your goals. And I think with this article, you can have a good overview about having this conversation. I definitely suggest to read this article from Stefan. And I think it's good also to read his other articles. He's mostly writing articles at Agile Zone. So it's quite interesting to look at it. The next article is from, it's difficult to spell, to pronounce the name. But if I, Mala, Meiziva, if I say it correctly. This article about the 5 DevOps mistakes to avoid. And I think one of the interesting thing about this article is it's a very, very short article, but at the same time, it reminds you again about the most important aspect of the DevOps, specifically about the fact that why you are doing DevOps, what DevOps means for your company. And I think it's about the mindset and other things that you find from this article. The nice thing at the end of the article you find, it's a very short audio feedback from some of the customers from this company, which they are mentioning about the biggest barrier they had towards adopting DevOps. And what they are saying mostly it's about the cultural part. So it looks like the knowledge part is not one of the most struggling part, but the culture, changing the culture of the company is one of the most difficulties they have had in their companies. So I think this article is also nice to have a quick remind. And this time I also try to like all the articles I like as well. I also suggest you guys, when you read the article and you like the article, you can like it to give some hints to the writer that you like their articles. You can place comments if you have some ideas or if you have some questions. If you have counterpart argument, I think it's good to start that conversation over there with the author or other people in the community. So the last article, it's from Rajiv Bera. It's very interesting, this article. It's about the top 35 Git commands with examples. I really like this article. As you can see, it's already 40K views. It tells a lot how this was interesting for most of the readers. Within this article, you can find the basic Git commands with some examples. There are 35 of these comments here with examples. It's even good to keep this article, I think, as a PDF somewhere, as a kind of a cheat sheet. It helps you if you forgot something, you can come back to this. I think we really need more of this article at DZone. I really suggest if you have some ideas about any other tools or any programming languages to create this kind of command with examples, would be interesting. And let me just, back to our side. I want to talk about something about the tutorials because I think we are really lacking tutorials at DZone, and that's something really useful for the developers, for testers, for DevOps engineers. And recently I saw one article was about one practice on AWS about processing millions of records. And but what it was missing, the concept was quite interesting, but the point was you could read the article, but there was no such a source code for you or a place to see if you can try that, because sometimes the concepts are not as easy as it is for the writer, for everyone. And that's why it makes it quite useful if you can put some sort of code examples or a link to the GitHub or a place in which developers can access to the code and try that code. And I think it's good if we can explain in a more extensive way in the tutorials, in order to help even the people with a different level of knowledge to be able to get engaged with the article and the tutorial and try it. And I think that's what we really need. And last but not least, I think if you have any article you think you like, we can promote it here. Just feel free to contact me. And I really like to talk about it with you. And we can even invite you here to discuss about your article, to see what was your idea behind the article and what you wanted to say within your article. And maybe we can have more questions from people which can help you to give you more feedback about what you wrote in your article. So that's it from my side, Blake.
Oh, yeah, that's great. So a lot of great stuff there. Got links to all the articles over into the chat. We've got the one person with the automate anything, the tiny DevOps guy, as he calls himself. That article is out there. And then the one that you mentioned, everything's out there. Great tips on the tutorials. So it's always interesting when you read an article. I solved world hunger, but I have not put anything up on GitHub or shared any of my code or how to do it. So it's always good to share kind of like how you actually did it, or for people to get started. It's always weird when it's I came up with something amazing and I'm not going to show you how to do it. And then we got one question that just came in here really quick that I'll address. So we've got Bob asked, I came late, when will you repost? So the great thing is with our live streams on DZone, once this ends, you can endlessly rewatch this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere.
Yeah, that's free to watch.
It'll immediately be archived once we are done. So you can hit replay. You can watch Alariza 5 times, 10 times when you go running, jogging, working out, cycling. When you're on the car, we're just always there off, especially YouTube is the one that I always look to. And
by the way, I have 2 feedback for DZone.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for maybe Khaled. I don't know if he's watching or not. I think on the search area for the platform on DZone, we definitely need a lot of improvement. It's quite difficult to search for authors. If you try, for example, to search one of the authors, if they are not in the title, I mean, if they are not mentioned in the titles, yeah, you cannot find them. And other thing would be useful, I really suggest, if it's possible, if we can add them to the profile of the authors, is the social media. For example, the Twitter, LinkedIn, because it now I told people you can contact me, but it reminds me by, okay, how they can find my Twitter account or LinkedIn or whatever, because it's not in my profile.
Yeah, we've got
And
a link. We've got a link to your cell phone number in the chat. So so just watch your phone after we get done.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So, but anyway, I think these two features, I don't know if it's possible in a short time, but I think that would definitely help us to, make it easier to connect people to each other, because I think that is a little bit missing now.
Yeah, and so we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming out, upcoming with DZone, especially from a platform perspective. Site search, as you see with so many companies' websites, the search just doesn't do what you need it to do. So you're always having to basically use Google to find what you want. So we hear that loud and clear. Author pages, you can put in your social media handles. Not everyone does it. So there's some different fields you can go in and populate that. You can always reach out to me. I can help there. But really what we need to do is to extend it out. So across whether your GitHub or your Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, you can do all of them easily. And also like things like follow authors. So if you like galleries, it'd be great just to be able to go on and follow them or any of your picks anytime they do this stuff. So it's really great feedback that we have there. And then I just want to say one article that I recommend. I don't usually recommend anything, but Justin Albano, one of our longtime authors on DZone, Java string formatting is one of those things that there's a lot of little topics here and there to talk about the Java string formatting. Justin Albano just wrote a comprehensive guide to this that is very long, very thorough, and highly recommended. I've got a link to the chat. So anyone that's working in Java string formatting, this is a great bookmark content, good reference material. Go check that out. I'm going to bring up all our guests now so we can jump into a Q&A, or everybody that's still around. So we've got Dali and Javier still with us. It's a little bit over the hour. I can't even believe we got Javier. It's got to be like feels like it's got to be like 3 a.m. now where he's at. So
you can take it one day off, Javier.
2 a.m. man. I cannot sleep now. Let's finish it.
All right. So for all of those watching us live, put any questions you have into the chat. So I will just kick it off with the panel. So we're all talking about low-code, no-code stuff this year. What are we going to be talking about next year in 2022? All the trends pieces are coming out. What are some of those trends that we should see, and what are some of the stuff that excite you basically as we get into next year, 2022?
The first thing we might have maybe COVID-92. So hopefully not, but
right. Anything on your side, Javier? Any trends that you're seeing or think we're going to be talking about with low-code, no-code next year?
So look, I was reading the other day an article from McKinsey, and actually said 65% of the applications in 2024 will be written with low-code. So what we are going to see is an explosion of low-code. So I don't know how many programming languages we got, but if it's true that 65% of the applications are going to be written in low-code, we are going to see a lot of low-code. In different verticals, there will be specializations in DevOps for low-code, in more architecture for DevOps, for low-code, like ours, more in the integration space, on the serverless specifically, and so on. So I think we are going to be a massive proliferation of these low-code tools.
Great, thanks for that, Javier. And then Dali, on your side, what are you seeing as some of the trends for 2022 that you see that are coming, or anything that's exciting you?
What we're starting to see is, and I'm hoping that this trend really expands, is that individuals starting to look to low-code as an opportunity to build businesses, to build consulting companies, build development companies that do not necessarily focus on code, but provide direct and quick customer service, kind of the middleman between the low-code product and the bigger companies. So that's one trend that we're pushing for, and hoping that it definitely does expand more.
Excellent. And then, so since we're at the question and answer time, you can post feedback, comments, questions, anything you want. We've got some of the best and brightest with low code, no code. Up here on stage, we got longtime DZone author Alariza on here as well. So if you got questions, definitely don't be shy. Throw those over into chat. We'll be glad to address any of them. Alariza, do you have any questions for Javier or Dali while we've got them here?
No, I don't have any question. I really enjoyed the conversation, and no, everything was clear.
Great. Not seeing any questions coming in here. So I guess just the final thing then on my side, just for the panel, we can go around with Javier, Dali, and then Alariza. Just kind of like in your space or within your company, just in the next few months, what are some of the things that you're excited about on the work side of things, or if you're going out to any trade shows, conferences in the industry, or you've got any of your own webinars that you're excited about, or maybe if you don't have anything going on the work side, if you're going to be taking a cool vacation or doing something fun. So just let everybody know a little bit about some upcoming stuff that you're excited about as a professional or personal. Starting with Javier, Dali, and then Alariza.
Cool. No vacation for me. No vacation for me. We are in lockdown at the moment in Sydney. So homeschooling with the kids at home. So as you can imagine, it's pretty nightmarish at the moment. So in terms of in the professional side, so we are very excited because I'm very busy at the moment because we are putting together the final pieces for the what we call Kumo Hub, which is an IFAS. It's a full integration function as a service. So we have recognized that a lot of people are still struggling to adopt the cloud. They don't have the skills and the knowledge to fully leverage it. So people with the roles, the permissions, people are very, very scared. So we're trying to pack all this complexity into a platform and just, once again, you just focus on your business problems. Just click a single click deployment, and we just take care of all the rest. So I'm very excited about this line of development. I'm very busy on it. That's it.
All right, and Dali, for you?
Yeah, I think the same thing with lockdown starting to come to an end. I think although platforms like this is brilliant for us to talk to each other, I'm really looking forward to starting to see people face to face again, and hopefully sometime soon in the future, maybe a DZone conference that we can meet each other face to face.
Great, thanks for that, Dari. And then Alariza, anything exciting going on your side?
Yeah, on my side, I'm quite busy with the coaching regarding the DevOps and the migration to cloud. And yeah, I'm busy with some materials for the DevOps. And one thing is, yeah, I'm quite interested about that. It's I started writing my experiences from the last 20 years. Hopefully, it can become a book maybe one day. But yeah. I'm busy with a lot of writings, but it's just a draft. At the moment, I'm just trying to making a lot of draft from the things related to the DevOps and my past experiences.
Yeah, and just a busy week. Once again, just great on the Opsera panel. And then just kind of closing out on my side, really great feedback, really great panel today. Just loved everything around low code, no code with some real practical stuff. Did want to announce that DZone will be at KubeCon North America in October. That runs October 13th through 15th in Los Angeles. Optimistic that things will be somewhat back to normal, or we'll be indoors wearing masks, but we will be out there with DZone staff members. We'll actually do a special taping of DZone Live out there. So if you want to come hang out, we're looking to also do like an after party, so definitely reach out to me there. Easily found, so just Blake, find me on there or on LinkedIn. Just really excited that we're going to be at KubeCon this year. And we're also going to have a special episode of DZone Live, episode 9 on September 9th. It's going to be all KubeCon focused. We've got a big featured guest in Atel Schwartz, who is the CTO and co-founder at Commodore. And one other session that I just want to quickly notice that's really exciting is going to be on Thursday, October 7th for DZone Live. That's going to be episode number 11. We've got a resilience theme, and we're going to have the CEO and founder of Gremlin, Colton Andrus, on. And not only do we have Colton on, we also have Zach Morris, who's the CSO and co-founder at Cantaba. And we're also going to have on Ted Young, the Director of Developer Advocacy from Lightstep. So that's going to be DZone Live, episode 11 on Thursday, October 7th. And once again, we'll be at KubeCon North America on October 13th, 15th. Knock on wood that everything's somewhat back to normal by then. But just lastly, just huge thanks again to everybody that was speaking on our panel today, or not panel, but DZone Live episode 6 today. We had Jay Jameson from QuickBase. We had Zavi from VoiceFlow. Dali over there talking about the product they have, Links. Javier talking about Kumalogical. And then we had Alariza talking about Shift Left, or actually DevOps, and Alariza's picks. So really great. Huge thanks to everybody for getting on and sharing your knowledge. Our global audience loves this. We always get people from all the different time zones staying up late. And the beautiful thing, as we're sort of talking to on DZone Live, is that these are all archived across our channels. So we see a lot of people sharing this content out or rewatching it, sharing it with coworkers. So you can easily go to our YouTube channel when this is done and be able to do that. We also take all the segments and do individual content for them. So if you only want to see Dali speak, we're going to have that put out as well. If you only want to see Javier speak, we're going to have that out as well. If you only want to hear Alariza's picks, you can do that. So just a huge thanks to our DZone audience. Really amazing to have the leaders in the low-code, no-code space, be here with us today on Thursday, especially with Javier staying up till probably 3 or 4 a.m. Hopefully he can sleep. But huge thanks for everybody for joining, and then we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.